Well, looks like Christmas has come a little early, boys and girls, because the Final Fantasy VII Remake has once again graced us with a brand new reason to tear it the fuck apart. I love the holidays, don't you? In case you hadn't heard, and unless you follow PC gaming closely, there's no reason you would have, because Square Enix is doing their best to bury this. The Final Fantasy VII Remake is about to drop on PC! Oh, joy of joys, right? Wrong! We always knew that the entire purpose of the ridiculous, exploitative, and predatory episodic pricing model of the remake was to simply grift customers out of as much money as possible. And how did they do that? Well, by mutilating the corpse of a classic game and then demanding absurd amounts of money to sell it back to you in pieces. It's quite a privilege, guys. I don't know why anyone is upset. I mean, have you seen how many polygons are in Tifa's tits? Totally worth it. So, yes, the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 Midgar Adventure Integrate is finally coming to PC. After grifting innocent FF7 fans out of money on PS4 with a timed exclusive back in April of 2020, then again with yet another timed exclusive in which fans were asked to buy it once more on a PS5 if they wanted the silly Yuffie side quest, they're going for 3 just 6 months later by selling the same garbage for a third time on PC. People thought I was being unreasonable by suggesting they were only breaking it up in parts to sell it as many times as possible. I mean, what a ridiculous notion, right? Where would anyone have gotten that idea? They've already asked you to buy it 3 times in 2 years, and we're still only on part 1. But hey, I mean, that doesn't prove anything, right? I mean, maybe you're a corpo bootlicker and thinking, but Shanghai Pete, lots of companies re-release their games on PC. Why isn't Square Enix allowed to do the same thing? Why can't that huge corporation be entitled to even more money? Never fear, my pathetic sycophantic friend, I'll explain. How much do games cost, on average? Well, PC games on Steam can be anywhere from $1.99 to $60. PS4 games are typically $60 for brand new ones, and now they're asking you to pay $70 for PS5 games, which, and I can never resist reiterating this, are just more expensive PS4 games. Anyone seen the new Horizon Forbidden West footage and info drop? Aside from slight graphical improvements, there is no demonstrable difference between the PS4 and PS5 version. Sony sold y'all on a lie, and people love it. Fuck me. And since everyone was so eager to pop the Sony dong in their mouths and just accept that without question, they're now swinging that freshly moistened dong around and crashing it directly into the PC gaming market. Oh, thank you so much, Sony, for allowing me the privilege of being assaulted by your capitalist fucking dong. Awesome. That's right, they're now asking for $70 fucking dollars for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 Midgar Adventure Integrate on PC. This is the first PC game to demand that much for a regular base edition, I might add. No DLC, no bundled season passes, no soundtrack, no useless words like deluxe printed on a non-existent physical copy, no ultra premium wallpaper JPEGs that surely must have cost a lot and have a high value, right? And no silly cosmetics. Just you, Cloud, your anime waifus, a nonsensical plot, and negative 70 fucking bucks. Oh, and it's also not on Steam, of course. It's a Epic Store exclusive. Awesome. And as for Square Enix's next major PC release, Forspoken, what the fuck is that? That'll be $70 too. What are the chances, do you think, that other publishers will not follow their lead on this? Yeah, 0. They're just trying to see what they can get away with. What has changed? My PC is still the same as it was last year. What's pushing the price up? Oh, right, nothing. Square Enix is just a greedy pile of shit. Now, none of that is really surprising, I suppose, though I admit I was initially aghast at how bold they become asking for fucking $70 for a game that's total garbage, but has also been available on other platforms for less money for over a year. What I did find surprising, though, was how PC Gamer, one of the only decent gaming sites left, sometimes, reacted to it. Get this. They fucking hated it too. What? Yeah, holy shit, is it possible that finally, 20-some months and 3 separate releases later, that some people are admitting that this is garbage? Some of their article on this sounds like it came directly from one of my videos or something too. They rightfully trashed the side quests, saying, as JRPGs go, Remake is not a long game, but it's absolutely been padded out. Side quests are plentiful, but these rarely amount to anything other than busy work. Square Enix had an opportunity here to use them to give us a stronger connection to Midgar, but instead offered up nothing but finding lost kittens or killing random monsters in a scrapyard. People argue that you can just skip them, but what if the next one is actually going to be good? Yeah, good chance of that. FOMO is nearly as bad as doing more dismal chores. Yeah, that's right, you motherfuckers. How good of you to manage the Herculean task of merely not being completely retarded and observing the actual facts of the situation. It's just downright amazing, guys. And in a further display of outrageous audacity, they dared to point out the impossibility of taking a portion of a story only ever intended to serve as a barely 2-hour intro and trying to stretch it into a full game, saying Remake is simply unable to escape the fact that it's not a complete story. And even though I knew that going in, I found it hard not to be disappointed with how awkwardly it attempts to tie things up, an attempt that ends in failure. Well, look who finally decided to join the party. Holy fuck, is this sense I'm hearing here? Couldn't be. They go on to say the following about Sephiroth. Sephiroth is still around, of course, but at the point in the story Remake covers, he's a total enigma. When you face him in Remake's climax, there is a long, dramatic, and flashy battle, but it's an unearned moment. It comes too soon. So what should be a powerful emotional high point just comes off as an excuse to show off how epic and pretty Remake can look. Well, they're absolutely right, of course, though I would argue that the attempt to look epic utterly fails as well. What I found disappointing, though, was that after elucidating all these truths and rightfully putting Square Enix on blast for ruining the legacy of a classic RPG, this is their conclusion. Putting games on pedestals isn't helpful, and it shouldn't come as a surprise that game design that's a quarter of a century old doesn't feel great to play today. Wait, what? Okay, so you're right about the first part, but what about the design of FF7 Remake is a quarter of a century old? Aside from a vague suggestion of the original characters, nothing of the original survived to make it into the remake, certainly nothing that's recognizable at least. I mean, maybe the first 20 minutes, the only part that actually mirrors the pacing of the original, but the rest? Like how did you manage to pull your head out of your useless game journalist ass long enough to rightfully impugn this garbage, but then your conclusion is that there must have been something wrong with the original? You go to all the trouble to make these poignant, relevant criticisms, but then at the end, your conclusion is to collapse in on yourself and play defense for fucking Square Enix? Why? What was the point of this entire article if your conclusion is just gonna say, well, you know, I guess the original must have sucked. That's the only possible reason that the remake could be bad. What? There's no trace of the original game in here, as any real fan would know. It's a nauseating Frankenstein hybrid typifying all the absolute worst aspects of modern day gaming. Flash over substance, profits over fun, and business over design. It's nothing but a vacuous riot of nightmares, an avatar of avarice, greed enshrined within the tattered, perverted remnants of a classic game loved by millions, and they want you to pay $70 fucking for it. Again. Makes me fucking sick. Welcome to the new normal, idiots, while it's out.
Yup, woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out. Woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt, then I'm back down.